As you well know, we've kind of moved toward providing assistance for a lot of organizations. We do it through our services, our grants and scholarships, and this is going to be a good segue because one of the things that I did when I started the organization about 19 years ago was to honor my folks, my mother and father, and both were physical educators. My dad was a professional football player and a college athlete at a black college. My mother was a school integrator in Columbia, Missouri, and taught physical education in the elementary school levels. And both of them are passed, but we've done a good job of honoring them by giving them an opportunity to have a grant named in their name. So, but I want to talk about my dad a little bit because this has been a great year for the Lewis family. My dad was honored, and you see the kiosk over there. He was honored this year as and inducted into the Black College Football Hall of Fame, and it's one of 3 that he's already added. And no, not all of you know that Dad grew up in St. Paul. He grew up in Minnesota, was an all-city athlete in St. Paul, and was mentored by a guy named Dwight Reed, who incidentally was a St. Paulite who was one of the first black college athletes at the University of Minnesota, way back in the mid-30s when they won two national championships in a row in football. So Dwight Reed became a legendary coach at Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri, which historically is a black college. And that's, my dad fell in line with him and followed him. Now, there's some other people that also went to Lincoln University. If you can remember Bill McMore, who was a Minneapolis public school administrator and the first community relations officer for the Timberwolves, and Richard Robinson, who was a longtime football coach at North, and they both followed Dwight Reed to Lincoln University, albeit a brief time period. So we all as a family have a connection to St. Paul way before I got here as a Viking. So it was fitting that I played for the Vikings, obviously. So so my dad's in the College Football Hall of Fame. He was a 3-time All-American, was drafted by the Baltimore Colts. He's in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, where he and Bud Grant were first teammates, and then Bud coached him in Canada before Bud got the job here with the Vikings. So a long history. So it's so fitting to have his name, but also to honor him and continue his legacy. So given that, I want to segue into one of our honorees. And John isn't here. John Bryant is our honoree. He's a employee at Jerry Gamble's Boys and Girls Club. And we've just got unlucky today because John's father passed this week. So he's not going to be here. Now, the director of Jerry Gamble's Boys and Girls Club, Marcus Zachary, is here. Marcus, why don't you come up and tell me a little bit about John, okay? And but before that, let's just have a moment of silence for John's father. Okay. So it's your job then to talk about John.
Okay.
And talk about Jerry Gamble's Boys and Girls Club. Won't you tell me a little bit about John since he's not here to talk about himself? Uh-oh. My bad. Okay, it's coming up. All right.
How's everybody doing today? My name is Marcus Zachary. I'm the branch director of the Jerry Gamble Boys and Girls Clubs of the Twin Cities, which is over north in North Minneapolis, in what we call Tangletown. And John Bryant is definitely a pillar of our community. John Bryant has worked for Boys and Girls Club for over 25 years. He's been there as a member. He's been there as a staff person. John coaches basketball. He coaches football. He coaches baseball. He coaches he has a leadership program called Torch Club that he runs. The thing that I find fascinating about Coach Bryant is that it's not just what he does inside the walls of the Boys and Girls Club, but what he does outside. He's always attending the youth high school games or just Saturday football games, and he's so engaged with the youth in the community. Like I said, he's a pillar of our community. He's a pillar of our Boys and Girls Club. Everybody knows Coach Bryant, even the parents that, who are now coming in at the ages of 35 years old and older. They're like, oh, Coach Bryant, is he still here? So everybody knows Coach Bryant. He's just a great guy, and I'm honored to accept the award on his behalf. I was honored to do the nomination for him. When I first got the email, I mean, it was so easy for me to write just all the wonderful things that he does at our Boys and Girls Club. I mean, you know, a lot of people come and say, you have a great Boys and Girls Club, Marcus, you're doing this, but John Bryant is the one that really keeps it going with the direct service and different things like that. So I want to thank the Lewis Sports Foundation for honoring John, especially at the time that he's having right now. I spoke with John through text, and he's holding up well, and he wish he could be here, but I'm just glad I can accept this award on his behalf.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, and you know, certainly we try our best to give you a small token of $500 to go where John wants it to go within your organization. Certainly, we make sure that our recipients have a nonprofit organization that they affiliate with, so that the money can be channeled that way. And but thank you so much for coming all the way over to Woodbury, man. That's a long trip.
It is.
Okay. Okay. So this is in name of Leo Lewis Jr. Memorial Practitioner Award to John Bryant, and it has Jerry Gamble Boys and Girls Club. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.